Have you ever wondered why some women stay in a man's memory for years, long after the conversations have ended, long after the distance has grown, long after everything else has faded? It is not her appearance. Appearances blur with time. It is not her words. Words are forgotten faster than we think. It is something far deeper, something that lives beneath the surface of every interaction, something that a man feels in her presence and cannot quite name, but never ever forgets. Most women are taught to be chosen, to be agreeable, to soften themselves, shrink themselves, and adjust themselves until they fit perfectly into whatever shape someone else needs them to be. And in doing all of that, in trying so hard to be remembered, they become invisible. But a woman who has found her stillness, a woman who has stopped performing and started simply being, a woman who carries herself with quiet, unshakable dignity, she does not try to be unforgettable. She simply is. And that is what stays with him. Not the effort, the ease, not the performance, the presence. Today we are going to go deep into 6 traits rooted in Stoic wisdom and lived human truth that make a woman truly, permanently unforgettable. Not because she chased his attention, but because she never needed to. Stay with me until the very last word, because the final trait is the one most women never discover, and it changes everything. And if this kind of wisdom speaks to you, subscribe right now. This channel exists for people who are ready for something real. 1. He never forgets the woman who knew her own worth. There is a kind of woman who walks into a room and something shifts. Not because she is loud, not because she demands attention, but because she carries something invisible and immovable, a settled, quiet knowledge of who she is. He notices it immediately, and he cannot stop noticing it. Most people spend their entire lives looking for their worth in the eyes of others, in compliments, in validation, in being chosen. And that search, that constant, exhausting search, is visible to everyone around them, whether they know it or not. But a woman who has stopped searching, a woman who already knows she is magnetic in a way that has nothing to do with beauty or charm or cleverness. Epictetus wrote, "Never depend on the admiration of others. There is no strength in it. Personal merit cannot be derived from an external source." She lives this. She does not need him to tell her she is worthy to believe that she is. She does not need his approval to feel confident. She does not adjust who she is based on whether he seems impressed. And that self-possession is devastating in the most beautiful way. Because a man can sense need. He can sense when a woman is waiting for him to make her feel whole. And while that need might feel flattering briefly, it eventually exhausts him. But a woman who is already whole, a woman whose happiness does not hinge on his next word or next move, she becomes a mystery he cannot solve, a depth he keeps wanting to explore. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." She has done the inner work. She has built her peace from the inside out, and that peace radiates from her in a way that no amount of effort or performance ever could. He forgets the women who needed him. He remembers the woman who chose him from a place of genuine fullness, not quiet desperation. Does this resonate with something deep in you? Drop a comment below. You are not alone in this. 2. He never forgets the woman who listened like it mattered. In a world where everyone is waiting for their turn to speak, where conversations have become competitions and listening has become a lost art, she gave him something rare. She listened. Not politely, not while composing her next thought, not with one eye on her phone and one ear on his words. She listened, like what he was saying actually mattered, like he was the only person in the room, like his words were worth the full weight of her attention. And he felt it. He felt the difference between being heard and being truly understood, and it changed something in him. Epictetus said we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. But she did not listen because of a philosophy. She listened because she genuinely cared. Because she understood that real connection is not built through impressive words, it is built through the quality of your silence. Think about what it feels like to be truly listened to. When someone puts everything else aside and gives you their complete, unhurried presence. When you feel, perhaps for the first time in a long time, that you are not being evaluated or judged, but simply received. That feeling is rare, and we do not forget who gave it to us. She did not try to fix him. She did not interrupt with her own story. She did not offer unsolicited advice or steer the conversation back to herself. She simply held space for him, generous, quiet, fully present space. Seneca wrote, "One of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood." She gave him that, not because she was performing attentiveness, but because she was genuinely interested in the person in front of her. And long after the conversation ended, long after the words themselves were forgotten, he remembered how she made him feel. Seen, heard, valued, real. That is unforgettable. That will always be unforgettable. 3. He never forgets the woman who did not chase him. This one is the hardest truth. And it is the one that changes everything once you truly understand it. There is a particular kind of pain that comes from loving someone who is always reaching toward you, but never quite arriving at themselves. Who makes you the center of a life that should have its own center. Who needs your attention the way a plant needs sunlight, completely, constantly, desperately. It does not feel like love to receive that. It feels like pressure, like weight, like a responsibility you did not ask for. But a woman who has her own life, her own passion, her own quiet fire burning for something beyond him. A woman who is genuinely absorbed in her own becoming. She does not chase. She does not wait. She does not rearrange herself to fit into whatever space he has available. And that beautiful, self-possessed independence pulls at something deep in him that he cannot explain. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." She is fully alive in her own present. She is not waiting for him to complete her story. She is already writing it. When she does give him her time, it means something, because her time is not given desperately. It is offered generously from a life that is already full, already meaningful, already enough. He chases the woman who does not chase him, not because she plays games, but because she genuinely does not need to. And that dignity, that unperformed, effortless dignity, is something he has never quite seen before. He remembers the women who waited for him. He cannot forget the woman who was too busy becoming to wait for anyone. If this truth hits something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. 4. He never forgets the woman who walked away in peace. Endings reveal everything, and most people reveal the worst of themselves at the end. When things fall apart, when love fades, or distance grows, or the relationship reaches its natural end, most people respond with anger, with pleading, with a desperate need to have the last word or assign the final blame. But she did not do any of that. She looked at what had been between them, held it with both hands for a moment, and then she let it go. Not with bitterness, not with performance, not with the cold silence that is really just anger wearing a mask. With genuine peace, She said what needed to be said with kindness. She honored what had been real, without pretending it was more than it was. And then she walked with her head level, and her heart open, and her dignity completely intact. He stood there, expecting chaos, and found stillness. He expected tears, weaponized as guilt, and found instead a grace he had never quite witnessed before. And that image, that woman walking away from him in peace, replayed in his mind for years. Epictetus taught, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." She understood that she could not control whether he stayed. She could only control how she left. And she chose beautifully. Walking away in peace is not indifference. It is not coldness. It is the deepest kind of strength, the kind that comes from knowing your worth so completely that no ending can diminish it. The kind that comes from understanding that your story does not begin or end with any single person. He forgot the women who fought to keep him. He never forgot the woman who loved herself enough to let him go. This one deserves a comment. Has letting go ever been the most powerful thing you ever did? Share it below. 5. He never forgets the woman who made peace feel like home. Passion fades. Excitement fades. The electric tension of new love settles eventually into something quieter, and what is underneath that quiet reveals everything. With some women, when the excitement settles, what remains is anxiety, drama, the constant low hum of unpredictability, the feeling that you never quite know which version of her will walk through the door, that you must always be managing something, her mood, her expectations, the emotional weather of the relationship. It is exhausting, and men leave not because the love disappeared, but because the exhaustion became unbearable. But with her, when the excitement settled, what remained was peace. A deep, steady, extraordinary peace. Being with her felt like exhaling after holding your breath all day, like setting down something heavy you had been carrying for so long you forgot it had weight, like coming home. She was not without emotion. She was not cold or detached. She felt things deeply, joyfully, fully, honestly. But her emotional world was her own. She did not make him responsible for it. She did not punish him with her bad days or make him earn his way back from her moods. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." She lived in that happiness. And she brought him into it, not by demanding he create it for her, but by carrying it within herself and sharing it freely. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." She had realized it, and that realization transformed the entire atmosphere of being near her. Peace is the rarest thing in the world, and a man never forgets where he found it. Long after everything else fades, long after the details blur and the memories soften, he will remember how it felt to be near her, that he could breathe, that he could rest, that for a little while the world was quiet and good and enough. That is not something a man forgets. That is something a man spends years looking for again. 6. He never forgets the woman who forgave without losing herself. This is the deepest trait, the rarest one, the one that most people never reach because it requires something that the world rarely teaches us to cultivate. Forgiveness without self-erasure. Most people, when they forgive, do one of two things. They either forgive completely and lose themselves in the process, accepting unacceptable behavior, shrinking their boundaries, allowing what should not be allowed in the name of love. Or they refuse to forgive at all, carrying the weight of old wounds into every new moment, letting bitterness become their armor. But she found the narrow, extraordinary path between those two things. She forgave him, genuinely, completely, without resentment, But she did not pretend that what happened was acceptable. She did not return to what had hurt her just to prove her forgiveness was real. She did not become smaller in the name of keeping the peace. She forgave him, and she kept herself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." She was not interested in revenge. She was not interested in making him feel the weight of what he had done. She was interested only in her own freedom, in releasing the bitterness that serves no one, in refusing to let someone else's failure define the quality of her inner life. Seneca wrote, "It is not that I am brave, but that I value other things more." She valued her peace more than her anger. She valued her dignity more than the satisfaction of making him understand exactly how much he had hurt her. And when he understood that she had forgiven him not out of weakness but out of a strength he could barely comprehend, something in him broke open. Because forgiveness like that is not common. Forgiveness like that is a kind of grace that most people have never been offered and never will be. He remembered every woman who made him pay for his mistakes again and again. He never forgot the woman who forgave him once completely, quietly, and then moved forward without looking back. That kind of grace does not leave a person. It stays. It asks questions. It makes a man wonder for the rest of his life if he was ever worthy of it. A woman who knows her worth. A woman who listens with her whole heart. A woman who does not chase. A woman who walks away in peace. A woman who makes peace feel like home. A woman who forgives without losing herself. She is not trying to be unforgettable. She is too busy being fully, completely, beautifully herself. And that is precisely what he cannot forget. Not the way she looked, not the things she said, but the way it felt to be near someone who had done the work, who had built something real inside herself, who did not need him to validate her existence or complete her story. Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." She rejoices in herself, in her life, in the quiet, extraordinary dignity of a woman who has chosen peace over performance and authenticity over approval. That is the woman who stays in the memory long after everything else fades. Not because she tried to be remembered, but because she was too genuinely herself to be forgotten. If this video gave you something real today, please subscribe. This channel is built for people who are serious about living with wisdom, dignity, and purpose. New content every single week. Always made with you in mind. Leave a comment below. Which trait resonated with you most deeply? I read every single one. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today, because the right words at the right moment can change everything.